had a tetanus shot, and I'm running a low-grade fever. That's yesterday. Now I'm running a low-grade fever.
All right, well, at least sit down so that way, you know.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Raritan High School to our parent prom meeting. We're so happy to have you here tonight. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mary Sutton, and I'm the Student Assistance Coordinator, otherwise known as the SAC here at Raritan High School. So my responsibilities include quite a few things. Dealing with the social and emotional issues of our students, along with education on substance awareness, prevention, and assisting with the development of building skills to cope with the challenges that we all face. So tonight's a very special opportunity for all of us to gain valuable information for the safety and well-being of our children. We always hear about so many unfortunate and often tragic events involving our youth this time of year, and we have been very fortunate in our community in that we have been spared this heartbreak. So prom and graduation time gives us the opportunity for us all to try to help build some happy memories for our children and our families. Now, whenever I ask a group of parents who they think are the most important people in their teenagers' lives, the people who influence them the most, the response is usually, well, their friends, of course. But I have to tell you that that's not the way your children respond to me. They feel that their parents are the most influential people in their lives. It may not seem that way to you when they're wearing you down, trying to show their independence, but you matter the most. They really feel that they do not want to disappoint you. And they depend on you to guide them and to set boundaries. So soon they will be adults, but remember, they're not there yet. Help them to save adult decisions and consequences for a time when they are truly able to handle them. Now, tonight's program will give you information that will help you to guide and support your children in making safe choices and decisions that will lead to these happy memories of their prom experience. So at this time, I'd like to turn our program over to Dr. Piotrowski.
Good evening. I want to acknowledge all of our parents for the hard work you do in raising your children. Keeping our kids safe requires a community to work together. I am well aware of your time is precious and want to thank you for attending and want to acknowledge that it is not easy to attend an evening event. You are being pulled in 1,000 different directions, but everyone in this room, including me, can acknowledge that nothing is more precious than your children. They are the most precious thing in your and our lives, and we want to make their senior and junior prom safe and enjoyable. Tonight, if you take one thing away to make your prom safe for your children, then we are doing our job. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge some people in the audience. I want to, I think she may be in the hallway and I'll introduce her again, but I want to thank Barbara Hilliard from the Hazard Alliance for all of her hard work. Hazlet Police Department Chief Meehan, Sergeant Forgione, who is our keynote speaker tonight, Mary Sutton, our Students Assistance Counselor, Mrs. Massimini, our 12th grade Assistant Principal, and our junior and senior class advisors. We are fortunate to have some very special people who have volunteered to share their expertise with us this evening. I want to take a moment to kind of embarrass my assistant principal. We take this role very seriously. It's her birthday today. Mrs. Massimini, I know she's going to do so. I'm embarrassing her, but I do want to wish her a happy birthday on behalf of everybody. And she's here to discuss the rules and guidelines for the prom contract so you can be aware and discuss them with your child.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Piotrowski. So what I'm going to go over, and everybody can come please take a seat instead of standing on the wall because you're not going to be comfortable. So quickly, if you take like 2 seconds, those who are standing on the wall, please come take a seat. There's tons of seats right there on the side. Please do. because Officer Pershing still has to present his side, so we're not also standing there.
Oh, I was in a panic. I was like,
It's okay. You can sit in front. It's really fine. They're like your children. They don't want to sit in front of the auditorium or the classroom. It's all good.
good job. I walk like this.
So what I'm going to go over tonight is the expectations for all of our students here. They will also be getting the same spiel later on, the day of the prom. Bottom line, our goal is to promote continued awareness about making positive and safe choices during the prom and graduation season. We're almost there. It is April 12th, and in about 2.5 months, your seniors will be graduating. It's a scary thought. We want the night to be a special evening for all the students. Class advisors and class officers have worked diligently to create a special experience for the students with themes and colors and everything. They've really worked hard. They want to make this night extra special. So in order to attend prom, the students need to be present in school on the day of prom. If the student and parents have completed the early release form that is included in your prom package that you received this evening, the students will be able to leave at 12. We will be meeting with the students prior to prom to go over these expectations. Please do not plan some type of hair appointment of any sort at 12 o'clock. They will not make it. So that's what I'm telling you now. The best time probably, or the earliest time you should make is 12:30 because it will be very hard for the students to get out of the parking lot. Students who attend prom need to ensure that all their fines have been paid, their office detentions have been satisfied, and they are in good standing with their grades and attendance. Fines also include cafeteria fines. So on your parent portal, under fines, you will find anything that is owed to the school. Under cafeteria, you will find any money that is owed to the cafeteria. They are two separate entities. Junior prom this year will be held at Sterling Gardens in Matawan, and senior prom will be held at Jumping Brook in Neptune. The earliest students may arrive is 6:30 p.m. All proms start at 7. Doors will open at 6:45. Please leave ample time for travel. Please account for traffic, especially getting down to Neptune during this time of rush hour traffic. Plus also, usually June, it's the weekend. Please be mindful of that, especially last year. I know they had a special event down at the seaside that weekend too, so there was a lot of traffic that was going down in that direction. So please be mindful. All students must arrive by 7 p.m., no later. Chaperones will be at the door to greet and receive your students. Once in attendance, leaving and re-entering the prom is not permitted. Since this is a school-sponsored function, all school rules do apply. This consists of no smoking of any kind, any kind, including vapes. In the event a student is under the influence, parents will be contacted and police will be notified. You will be required to have an immediate medical examination and substance screening. Police will be present in the event of an emergency. The prom does end at 11, but students can start leaving at 10:45. So if you have a limo that is picking up your child, they cannot leave until that time. Bottom line, your student safety and well-being is our main concern. Prom should be a memorable, healthy experience. You only get one junior or senior prom, depending on where you're going. We want to make sure that prom is a classy and dignified experience. The expectation is that the students conduct themselves like ladies and gentlemen that they are. And every year, the ladies look beautiful and the gentlemen look so handsome. It's a really nice night. This is an absolutely wonderful evening to have fun, but we want you to be safe. Please, we ask that not only students make smart choices, but the parents do as well. Thank you for your time this evening.
At this time, I want to introduce Mrs. Barbara Hilliard. You can give her a round of applause. She was down in the hallway. Barbara Hilliard is the coordinator for the Hazard Alliance for the Prevention of Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. This agency is a valuable resource in our community, and she'd like to say a few words.
Hi everyone, I will be very brief. Underage drinking is a problem, and parents, you are the leading influence for your kids' decision not to drink. There's proms, graduations, summer parties coming up. Please just gently remind your child that the legal age, whether you like it or not, whether they like it or not, is 21. And there's fact for that. I mean, the brain isn't even fully developed until you're in your 20s. With the prom, okay, there are a number of information pamphlets that we have. One of the, I think, people were talking, parents and posts. This is a front and back. It gives you all the laws about underage drinking, and it gives you the how much trouble you can get into if you host a party, if you rent a hotel room. Somehow supply your child with alcohol. And you can pick up all this stuff at the Alliance table. Another good flyer that we have is prom night. I believe the principal will be scanning it in and emailing it all to the juniors and seniors, but there is a pledge. Just a safe pledge for parents to take with a child, so you may want to pick up one of these. And then at the table, there's a whole page of really good resources, websites, phone numbers, for you to just educate yourself on different laws, not only underage drinking, but also drugs. Another booklet what parents need to know about college drinking. Pick it up. We pay for this. It's free. Last thing I want to mention is also, we have these little cards. Now, in New Jersey, and I'm not sure if the police officer will mention it tonight, but we have the Good Samaritan law and we have the Lifeline law. We don't encourage drug use, we don't encourage underage drinking, but if they get into a bind, and if they're with someone that's ODing or with someone that has alcohol poisoning, they can call 911, stay with that person, and everyone has immunity. So pick up one of these and just talk to your child about it. I hope everybody has a safe and happy prom. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Zoe. There are tables in the lobby with information for you to take home from Mrs. Sutton at Raritan High School, Barbara Hilliard of the Hazard Alliance, and Laura O'Hara of the Hazard Hope. At this time, I'd like to call down our senior class advisors, Mr. Berg and Mr. Dempsey.
Good evening. Just messaged me, said senior prom is June 8th at Joey Brook. Our bid will be $6 a bid. We'll start selling the bids after the junior prom sometime in May. We just have to remind everybody, go through the packet completely, make sure you sign everything. That way, when the student turns it in, we're not chasing anybody down, everything's done. All the packets are color coordinated and it should be easy. Any questions, please reach out to Coach Berg, myself, or we're sorry to come find us.
Mrs. McCready and Mr. Leonard to discuss the junior prom.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming tonight. We are looking forward to an exciting junior prom coming up on May 12th. Currently, our bids are on sale now and will be on sale through April 27th. So we have tomorrow and then the next 2 weeks in order to make a purchase. So just please double check, since we're the first wave, especially if you have a senior that is going to junior prom as well, that their fines are also taken care of. Otherwise, we bounty hunt through the hallways looking and tracking down bids. But it should be a good time. We'll be at Sterling Gardens this year, and prom bids will be on sale for $55.
This time, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, Sergeant Joseph Forgione. Is a valuable and respected member of our Hazard community. He has served in the Hazard Police Department for the past 18 years. In addition to many tasks that he performs daily for our community, he is our liaison for school security. We can always count on him to guide and assist as we work together for the safety and well-being of our students. He is here tonight to discuss some of the issues that will be important for you to discuss with your children so that they can make informed and healthy decisions.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank Dr. Petrowski, especially happy birthday. Mrs. Sutton, and most importantly, all of you for being here tonight. I'm a little raspy voice, so I apologize in advance. Can everyone hear me in the back? No? All right, tonight we're going to talk about two very, very important things. Underage drinking and social host liability. Okay? The prom season here, these two subjects are highlighted, and it's very important that all of you, I have it under my attention, I promise you, I won't keep you too late. Somebody might miss the devil game, I saw a video over there, but it won't be too late. It's very important stuff. As a proud member of the Hazard Police Department, I can assure you that the entire department is devoted to this community, especially our school system. And as you were so kind to introduce me, I have been a police officer for 18 years. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I graduated from this school. I'm not going to give you the year. I don't want to date myself. A little later, some of you may see some familiar faces. This is a really important topic, and it seems that each year we learn as a community, and this is something that's highlighted. And yes, we've been fortunate this far, but we don't want to get behind the curve. We want to stay ahead of the curve. So tonight I'm going to start with a couple statistics. I know it's a little dry, but tonight my goal is to paint a picture to all of you, and hopefully we can all have the same message. So according to the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, by the age of 15, 33% of children or teens reported having at least one alcoholic beverage. And by the time that they're 18, that number jumps to 60%. And in 2015, they polled 7.7 million people the ages of 12 to 20, and they reported of having at least one drink in the prior month. According to the National Highway Safety Administration, nearly 1/3 of deaths of people aged 15 to 20 were the result of a motor vehicle crash, and more than 1/3 of those are related to alcohol. So again, very, very important. Now, as much as it's important to discuss the negatives of underage drinking, it's equally important to recognize, it's going to be difficult for some of you to hear, that some of you in this room will have children that consume alcohol after prom. Anybody find that difficult for you? It's difficult for me to say to you, but I'm not here to sugarcoat things. I'm here to give you a message of the reality. Because I know that made me feel uncomfortable. Seriously, we're a community, we can talk. Did anybody feel uncomfortable by that? That that's a possibility? It should. And I would rather make you feel uncomfortable here than something have happened as a result of underage drinking. So I want to make it a little real for you, because I want you, every one of you, students and parents, to take it very seriously. So what's our approach going to be? We're a community. You have to have the uniform. I grew up in this community. We're all on the same team. Our roles might be different, but we are truly on the same team. So my message to you is going to be this. I want all of you, at some point, not too long after this conversation, this discussion, to have a serious conversation with your children. I want you to remind them that they're not to consume alcoholic beverages until they're of legal age. Second, I want you to show them, your children, that you have the confidence in them to make the right decisions. And that's decision, it's not decision. Because there's going to be a lot of potential problems after prom, and they're going to be faced with multiple decisions. So we want to encourage them and show them that you have the confidence as their parent in them to make the right decisions that night, from start to finish. And as you pointed out, graduation season is coming. We're going to focus on prom, but it applies beyond the prom weekend. And don't be afraid to set limits on your children. I think about it, they're going to test it. I mean, we're all teenagers once, right? So if you tell your kid, and I'm just going to arbitrarily use 9 p.m. as a curfew, right? You tell them you have a curfew of 9 o'clock, and I'm not giving any kids permission here to come in after 9 o'clock. But they come home at 9:15. In their minds, they knew they had to be home. It's up to the individual parents what the discipline would be or discussion is going to be. But if you don't set any limits, they have no curfew. You really can't get mad at them for coming home at 1 o'clock in the morning. Anyway. So don't be afraid to set some kind of limits in advance of prom, even if you think those limits are going to be tested. Next is something I would refer to as the delicate balance. While you do not want to encourage actually want to discourage any underage drinking. You do want to emphasize the importance to your children that they can contact you at any time that night. Even if it's their friends that are using alcohol. You don't want to make them afraid to call mom or dad because maybe they did something wrong. Again, not encouraging, discouraging. But in that event, you have to feel comfortable to call you. Explain how important to them it is not to get into a vehicle with somebody else that may have consumed alcohol, right? We talked about that statistic before. So how are we going to accomplish getting this whole message across? Not to steal somebody else's work, I know Miss Elliott said the pledge. I would say this is my version of the pledge, my message to all of you. First, your children must know that they can call you that night for any reason whatsoever, no questions asked. Second, make a commitment to your children that night that you yourself, as adults, will not consume any alcoholic beverages. And the key is going to really be establishing the trust with your kid. They know our kids, children, that they know that they're not going to get in trouble for calling you. Make sure your message is clear to them and allow them to ask questions. The more they understand, the more questions they ask, the more answers they get, the more they know, the better it's going to be for everybody involved. Again, reinforcing the confidence in them to contact you. That's going to really be the key. Take as much time as you need. I know we're only going to talk for 20 minutes tonight. If you have to have that discussion right after this concludes tonight, you have to have it again and again and again. Take as much time as you need. There's no time limit on this. Their safety is paramount. So as much time as you need to take, that's as much time as it needs. So we'll go over the pledge again. Parents, make yourself readily available. Answer the phone. No questions asked. No drinking yourself that night. How many kids, do you have any children you're actually attending, looking to attend the prom? This is a message for you guys. Thank you for your students. You guys agree not to drink. You agree not to get in the car with someone else who you think may have consumed alcoholic beverages. And don't be afraid to call your parents. They love you. That's why they're here tonight. They care about you. And I ask you to spread the message to your fellow students, for anyone who may not have been able to attend. Does everybody think that that's fair? What I said? It's kind of like a contract with your kids. I don't think anything is unreasonable. Fair, right? I think it's fair. To all the parents, you know your kids best. How are you going to get this across today? It's going to vary from one family to the next. So you might have to take this message that I'm giving you and kind of craft it into your own way of getting the message across to your own children. And don't be afraid to do that, as long as the message stays intact. And just a reminder again, something that she touched on, that all the school rules apply to school events, even if they're not on school property. That's important too. Anyone have any questions about that? No? Okay. So next topic I want to talk about is social host liability. Anybody here planning on renting a hotel, leasing a hotel, condo, beach house, perhaps even opening up your backyard or your living room or your basement right here in Hazlet as a post-prom function or event? All right, you don't have to tell me. I gave this presentation in front of my dog earlier. My wife was traveling for work. She didn't raise her hand either. So, again, I'm going to try to paint the picture for you. If you plan on doing that, if I strongly discourage you allowing alcoholic beverages to be present and to be consumed by minors. You may be criminally and civilly liable. And some things that you may not have thought about is, for example, if you're found guilty of providing alcohol to minors, it is considered a disorderly person's offense, but it still carries a fine up to $1,000 and up to 180 days in jail. And I don't think anybody wants to go to jail. There's also been instances in New Jersey where the Division of Child Protection and Permanency, which is formerly known as DIPUS, has weighed in and taken steps to charge the parents with neglect and abuse, and the child's actually been removed from the family home for a period of time. I don't know who wants that. On the civil side, you may be liable in a lot of different ways. So without using law jargon, police jargon, the threshold to prove the criminal side is here. The threshold to prove the civil side is down here. We call it the preponderance of evidence. It's much lower. The defense, a civil liability attorney only has to prove that by you signing a lease, think about how a jury or a judge would do this. You sign for a lease down, let's say Seaside, Wildwood, or otherwise, where you knew that, I don't know, 5 underage minors were staying, and that any reasonable person could assume, is the terminology, because I looked it up, could assume that alcohol was going to be present. You may be found liable. That easy. And some things you may not have thought about. It's not just the consumption that you have to worry about. Somebody could slip and fall, hit their head. Some of the beach towns have pools. Somebody could slip and fall, drown. Somebody could be in attendance and then gets into a motor vehicle that ultimately results in a crash that hurts or ultimately kills people in that car or in other cars of innocent people unrelated to that night. So you can see that there's a lot, it's a slippery slope. You just don't want to go down. If a fight breaks out, I found this interesting, it's perceived as a purposeful act. And if alcohol was present, and because of that purposeful act, you will be liable. There's not even an option. They can prove that there was a fight, there was alcohol, there was underage, and any reasonable person could assume that there may be alcohol present after the prom, each rental. I think that any reasonable person could assume that that might happen. You will be found liable. And the last point I want to touch on is that so I grew up in this community. My best friend to this day is my friend from 5 years old. Some of my other really close friends, 10 years old, I went to school with most of them. And again, without dating myself, we've been friends for a very long time. They're family now. They're not friends anymore, they're family. And your friends this long, they've been through everything good and bad in their life, they become family. And there's a lot of you in this room that have made friends along the way, and they'll be friends with you for life, and they'll be with you through good and bad. I don't want to imagine the psychological impact of something I did or facilitated that led to something happening to my friend now that might be my family member down the road. So for all the students in the room, think about that. Nobody wants to lose a friend, and you sure don't want to lose a family member. It also, being involved in something like that could negatively impact scholarships. I mean, I would find it very difficult that if such a party, for lack of a better explanation, took place, that somebody wouldn't have a cell phone and be on their Instagram, their Facebook, their Snapchat. Somebody would take a picture. Somebody is going to have evidence of that taking place. And these universities don't hand out these scholarships. It's expensive. You see it every day in the news. Student loan debt. It's expensive to go to college. These universities are not going to hand out scholarships to people who may have been involved in something like that. They're going to give it to someone who they deem is more worthy and was not involved in something like that. So just something else to think of. Finally, any people in the room, any students, think about being a police officer? Anybody? Nobody wants to admit to that now? Chief, no? The bottom line is that in this day and age, again, with social media, it's real hard to erase or undo what you've done. And we work with some pretty intelligent men and women, and we will find out what we did. And it might come back to bite you if we did aspire to be a police officer. And it could, I'm sure there's other careers too. It could negatively impact your careers. The prom's meant to be a very important event. I know my mom was pretty upset me. I went to 4 different proms. I don't know if that, at the time I thought it was a good thing. Looking back, I guess, either way. But each was special, each was fun. And ultimately, I'm glad I attended all of them. It's not meant to be something that leaves a negative, memory in your head. It's meant to be a positive memory. It's meant to be fun, but there's a lot of ways you can have fun, and it doesn't mean you have to have alcohol or any other illegal substance present to have fun. So, what I ask each of you as parents to do, again, you don't have to do it tonight, but not to do it for the future, have that family discussion with your child. For you guys, listen, ask questions, give them the answers they need. They have to see the eye to eye. It's not about your parents being the boss. It's not about that. They care. You have to understand. And parents, be available to your kids. Help them in any way. Guide them in any way. And let's have a happy, healthy, safe, fun season. Does that all sound fair to everybody? We're all on the same team. Anybody have any questions? Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Sergeant Bergeron. Just want to take one quick moment. Sergeant Bergeron and I probably have similar careers, about close to 20 years. I want to be honest with you, I've been in multiple districts. I've seen it all. I want to stress to you that my door is always open. I know the difficulties of parenting. Again, not high school, but I have a 5 and a 3-year-old, and it's hard. If you need anything, our administrative team, our guidance counselors, our community in Hazlet, they're here for you. So I wish everybody a happy and safe prom, and thank you for coming out.
Let's go.